So now let's talk about the simple past tense اللي نسميه في اللغة العربية الماضي البسيط. The simple past tense. So first let's talk about the use. الاستعمال. We can نستعمله the simple past. The use of the simple past tense. So the simple past tense is used to talk about actions حوادث ولا أفعال that happened at a specific time in the past. حدثت في نقاط معينة في الزمن الماضي. And you state when it happened using a time adverb. يعني نحدد هذا الوقت هذا وقت حدثت الأفعال والحوادث هذه باستعمال a time adverb. رايحين نشوفوا فيما بعد وش هو a time adverb or time adverbs that are used to state or decide or precise the time in which the actions happened in the past. The second point, you form the simple past of a verb by adding ed onto the end of a regular verb. But irregular verbs have different past form. So in here we can say that verbs in English according to the simple past are divided or can be divided into two groups. Regular verbs, this is number one. Number two, irregular verbs. So what do we mean by regular verbs? عليه نقولوا regular verbs because they follow the rule. What is the rule? The rule is a stem, the verb, plus ed. This is the rule. So the verbs that follow this rule, الأفعال اللي تتبع هذه القاعدة هذه stem plus ed to form the simple past. هذو نسميهم أفعال نظامية regular verbs يعني يتبعوا القاعدة يتبعوا النظام. But irregular verbs يعني أفعال غير نظامية أفعال شاذة تشذ على هذه القاعدة هذه ما تتبعش هذه القاعدة لذلك نسميهم irregular verbs. So these irregular verbs have different simple past form. Look at this note. The past simple form is the same for all persons. يعني ما عندناش فرق بين I, you, they, she, he, it, we. ما كانش فرق بيناتهم من حيث القاعدة. So if we have the regular verbs, so we have I plus stem plus ed, or you plus stem plus ed, they plus stem plus ed, she plus stem plus ed, he plus stem plus ed, it plus stem plus ed, and so on. But the irregular verbs, we have one of these persons plus an irregular verb. And we'll see what are the forms of the irregular verbs according to the simple past in the following pages. So let's have some examples for the irregular verbs. Look in here, we have the verb to finish. So this is the infinitive. The example is, she finished work earlier yesterday. So she, this is the subject, the person. Finish, as you see in here, is the stem of the verb. Just the stem, not all of the infinitive. The stem, finish. Plus ed, plus ed. So this is the simple past of the verb to finish. To finish is the infinitive. Finished is the simple past of the verb to finish. Yesterday, this is the time expression or the time marker. هذه العبارة هي اللي تحدد لنا الوقت اللي حدث فيه هذا الفعل هذا في الماضي. So this is yesterday is the time expression or the time marker or the time adverb. Second example, I worked a lot last night. So to work, this is the infinitive. Work, the stem plus ed. So this is the simple past. Worked, this is the simple past of the verb to work. I worked a lot last night. When? The time in the past. When did I work a lot? So I worked a lot last night. Last night is the time expression. 3. They moved here last week. So move, this is the verb in the infinitive to move. The simple past is moved. Here last week. Last week is the time adverb or the time expression. We studied philosophy 2 days ago. So the verb is to study. The subject is we. Studied, this is the simple past. Look, pay attention to this verb. So the infinitive is to study. The verb finishes in y. In here we have no y, but we have I. It means that in the simple past for the verbs that finish in y, and this y preceded by a consonant, so we change the y into I, then we add the ed. This is the simple past of such verbs. Look at this note. Verbs end in y. الأفعال اللي تخلص بواي preceded مسبوقة by a consonant like these verbs dry, modify, notify. So the simple past is dried, IED, modified, IED, and notified, IED.